everyone, Jason here, digital marketing consultant, and in this complete productivity apps review, you're going to learn about the 5 best and essential productivity apps for entrepreneurs. Timestamp table of contents in the description, along with some other helpful videos that go through how to hire freelancers and manage a virtual team and actually use some of these applications. So these 5 are based upon not dealing with software bugs, the value you get for the price, and of course, just testing over a couple of years, figuring out which ones actually work the best. And the first manager we have on the list is going to be your project manager, because as an entrepreneur, one of your most important tasks is getting tasks off your plate and delegating. And so a good project manager can either add to the headache or reduce the headache. And in this particular instance, the one that takes the top spot is Asana. Now, I've tried Podio, I've tried Asana, Basecamp, Trello, Outlook, Google Tasks, and even Evernote for a brief week. Evernote, I think, was the shortest one ever we tried to use, and Asana comes out on top simply because it has the most features, most flexibility for the best price, which is free. So Asana is actually free as long as you're under 15 people. Now, if you need advanced things like Gantt charts and you want to take a look at tracking how many hours people take or taking a deeper dive into workloads on your team, then you're definitely going to have to pay for the premium version. But I'd say for 9 out of 10 business owners and entrepreneurs, the free version of Asana, as long as you have less than 15 people, will give you plenty of features and pretty much everything you need to run your business. Now, one of the biggest drawbacks to Asana was that it didn't used to have boards. So something that made Trello very popular is you could visually see all of your tasks and projects, and some people really like that. Personally, I'm a list person, so I like the way the default Asana looks, but if you like the way Trello looks, you can actually now create boards inside of Asana, pretty much eliminating the need for Trello at all. In fact, the Asana CEO was pretty harsh on Trello, calling that just a feature, not necessarily an entire platform. So it's cool. You can have your boards, you can also have your lists. Inside of Asana, you can have a task and a subtask and a subtask, and then another subtask. Although if you're working with other people, it can be very hard for those other people to understand your entire hierarchy. So maybe you only want to go 1 or 2 deep. And it's very easy to add and remove people to Asana and assign them tasks. You can make reoccurring tasks, and you can also have conversations on your actual project. So if you're looking for a project manager, I would recommend Asana. If for whatever reason you don't like Asana, then number 2 would be Basecamp, simply because for $100 a month, Basecamp doesn't charge per user. So if you have a large team, Basecamp might actually make sense, especially now that they finally added reoccurring tasks. And one final note with Asana, you can easily add all of your documents from Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, and whatever other drives there are, or just directly upload it to Asana. So you really can do everything you need in one place with Asana. And on the topic of storage, next up we have your file manager. So here are the big players. We have Box, Dropbox, then we have Google Drive, and we have OneDrive. And out of all of these solutions, for us and me personally, Google Drive makes the most sense. At $5 a month or $12 a month, it gives you the most amount of features and storage for the price. At $12 a month, you're going to get a terabyte, and if you have 5 people on your team, then it becomes unlimited. And when you look at Google Drive compared to the other 2 big solutions, Dropbox and Box, you actually don't have to pay for every user who has access to the drive. So a big downside of something like Dropbox is if you have a terabyte of storage and you bring someone on your team and you say, hey, I'd like to give you access to that. Well, all of a sudden, it doesn't matter that you've paid for the terabyte. Now your person on your team has to pay for the terabyte. Whereas with Google Drive, if you've paid for the terabyte and you add their Google account, whether it's a business one that's under you or it's just a normal Gmail account, this person does not have to pay for a terabyte of storage. So you only pay once. Whereas with Dropbox, you pretty much pay for the same amount of storage for each person who needs access to it. And the reason this is so great is because with Google Drive, you can now actually make something called team drives. And what team drives allow you to do is make a drive that's independent of everyone's account. So it's not like a personal Google Drive it's not like your personal Google Drive anymore. And then you can add and remove users, and you can even make entire drives for each part of your team. So as you can see here, we actually have a lot of different team drives, and we have a specific team drive for training, we have a specific team drive for the management team, for us as founders, and then we also have specific team drives for different parts of our business or different media properties that we run. So it makes it really, really clean and easy to organize all your files and make sure the proper people have access. Plus, you get all of the G Suite applications of docs, slides, drawings, and sheets, something that you're not really going to get with the other solutions, where you're actually going to wind up paying for Office 365 on top of Box or Dropbox. Of course, if you're using OneDrive, then you're probably already paying for Office 365 and you're happy with the online versions of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Although I will say, if you're looking for something that's going to be completely online, the G Suite for Business definitely beats Office 365. I've gone back and forth on that a lot, and we've just stuck with Google Drive because it's been the most consistent when it comes to doing everything in the cloud, especially because most of our team is virtual. Now, before we move on to number 3, I want to quickly address Zoho, because if you've heard of Zoho, you might be wondering why I didn't have it on the list. If you haven't heard of Zoho, just skip the next 20 seconds. But essentially, the reason we didn't put Zoho on this list is because the pricing is super confusing and it becomes very, very expensive when you need multiple users, and it's not really so much a file storage system as it is more of a business CRM management system. So that's the only reason we're not including Zoho here. Now, number 3 comes to your idea manager. So as an entrepreneur, business owner, chances are you have a lot of ideas. There are a lot of projects you want to do. But the problem is, if you put all of those ideas inside of Google Drive, or you put all of those potential projects inside of Asana, you'll have the problem of clutter. And clutter is something that you don't want as a part of your business system. So I recommend using Evernote to keep everything that goes on in here in a safe and secure place that is outside of what everyone else on your team is looking at. And now there are 2 reasons for this. Reason number 1, your brain is a processor. It's not designed to be a file cabinet. So once you've processed and you have that idea, or you're thinking about this project, you can go ahead and pull that out and stick it in Evernote and then just let it stay there. And reason number 2, you want it in Evernote and not these other places, is you want to keep Asana clean. Asana tasks should be things that are actively worked on. One of the great downsides of Asana is it's very easy to have just endless to-do lists, right? That's not really productive. That's not really going to help anyone get anything done. So you want all of those ideas, all the things that are not now, to be in Evernote. And this will make sure that Asana stays clean. This will make sure that Google Drive stays clean with things that are actually relevant and actively being worked on, as opposed to a bunch of documents that have half ideas or projects that you'd like to do in the future, but you don't necessarily have time for. I definitely recommend paying for the premium version of Evernote, but I don't recommend paying for the business version of Evernote, because I think it's $10 or $12 a month per user. When you compare Evernote to what you get with G Suite for Business, it makes a heck of a lot more sense to just pay $12 per user for Google Drive and just use Evernote personally. I also really like Evernote because of their web clipper. It's very easy to just clip YouTube videos or blog posts that I think would be helpful in the future, and that's just the giant file cabinet. So number 4 on our list is going to be your talent manager, because at the end of the day, of course, you need talent on your team to help you grow and scale, and the best tool for that right now is actually Upwork. So what Upwork allows you to do is to post jobs and then freelancers around the globe, or in specific geolocations that you specify, will apply to your job. Now, they recently changed their pricing, so there are different pricing tiers. I don't recommend paying for the $50 to $500 a month for Upwork. I think the pricing just is a really too much for new businesses. So what I recommend doing is using the free plan. And then if you have a really important job or task, you can actually pay 30 or 40 bucks to boost that specific job posting so that it goes to the top and you get a lot more people to actually apply to your job. I'll link up in the description to a full playlist that walks you through how to use Upwork to find great talent. And finally, number 5 is going to be your money manager, because we all need to make money as entrepreneurs at the end of the day. And this comes down to that good old accounting software that is necessary but just so boring to talk about. So that's why we put it at number 5. Now, speaking as a former accountant, I've used a lot of different accounting softwares out there, from enterprise all the way down to small things like FreshBooks and QuickBooks. And I can tell you from personal experience, Wave Accounting is going to be the best solution as long as you're not doing 7 figures a month. And the reason Wave Accounting is so great is because it costs $0. It will directly connect to your bank account. It will easily, which means you don't have to manually key things in anymore if you remember Quicken. And then also you can easily categorize all of your expenses, and it has all the basic reporting you need to hand off to your CPA at the end of the year, or whichever country, and your accountant at the end of the year who prepares your taxes. And so I really like Wave Accounting because it simplifies the whole accounting process. It doesn't cost anything, and it's really easy to get sucked into the marketing messages of QuickBooks and FreshBooks, especially with FreshBooks and their project management stuff. I won't even get into that. FreshBooks, the project management thing is a joke inside there, and QuickBooks is just overkill for, I'd say, 90% of the businesses who actually use it. So Wave Accounting has you covered. If you're looking for advanced reporting on your business, like you're doing a lot of e-commerce sales, or you want to look at how your leads are working and actually turning into clients, then I highly recommend looking at a different solution, or having someone build you a custom reporting solution using Google Sheets and Smartsheets, because all of these accounting solutions on the market right now that are actually reasonably priced are not going to give you a deep dive into actually seeing exactly how much time someone on your team is spending, or giving you enough clarity on projects and costing that it's going to make sense to actually pay for those. So I highly recommend just sticking with Wave Accounting for free and using a different non-accounting based software if you need some advanced tracking of your sales data or how people on your team are spending their time. And so that does it for the 5 essential productivity apps for entrepreneurs and business owners. Go ahead and comment below which ones on this list, which ones on this list you actually use, and which ones you disagree with and you have a different solution for, because your insights and questions are going to help others make the right decision for their entrepreneurial journey and business. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more reviews just like this one, and until the next, keep building the business you love.